Hello, welcome to Celtic Crossroads from KILT Studios. I'm your presenter, Kenton Adler, Director of Advancement for Scottish Heritage at Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas. Join me now as we explore an hour of music and story from all corners of the Celtic world. Our show is made possible in part by the Campbell Collection, a generous gift from the estate of the Duke of Earl, the late Robert Louis Campbell of Earl, Arkansas. The collection consists of music and literature now housed in the archives of the Lyon College Mabie Simpson Library, and by the Lyon College Scottish Heritage Program. Let's get things started with Gaberlunga from their album For Auld Lang Syne with Deed, Fish and Diesel. Then we'll hear from Angus MacColl off the Tenants Pipe Major Donald MacLeod MBE Memorial Competition from 2000 with John MacDonald of Glencoe, Donald McClellan of Rothsay, Susan MacLeod, Maggie Cameron, a traditional reel, and John Garraway. And then we'll hear from the Reel Mackenzies, the King of Glasgow, from their Piss to the Gills album.
For years upon the mainland I was working like a dog, till I took a sudden notion for the peat-reek and the bog. I put my finest trousers on, a brand new pair of shoes, and with my mate Big Sandy Tate we headed off for Lewis. Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway. The boss from Inversnaggy was a wonderful affair. The driver wore dark glasses with a white stick by his chair. He had a little microphone to tell us where we'd been, and he took us by a shortcut through Kintail and Darknasheen. Oh, Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway. We wandered round the Highlands for 7 days or more, until by chance we came upon the junction at Braemore. Big Sandy grabbed the driver, he says here's the golden rule. Turn right tonight if you want to fight, but it's left for Ullapool. Oh, Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway. We safely reached the ferry with little time to spare. You could sense that old familiar feeling hanging in the air. The purser checked the day release we got from Craigdonane, and we headed off across the Minch's captives o' McBrain. Oh, Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway. It wasn't long before we hit the pier at Stornoway. The same old seagulls sitting there as when we went away. The grass upon the rooftops and a prayer to save your soul, and the BCCI overdraft to keep you on the dole. Oh, Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway. Hey, Deed, fish and diesel, it'll take your breath away. You can tell yourself by the fine like smell you're back in Stornoway.
working lad. Name is Celtic World, he's a drink and being bad. He'd show up at the bar, he'd spend his money on the booze. Spend the night complaining till the barmaid he'd be rude. Now he'd run loudly at the bar by the time we got the crabs. All the struck down at the fair when he beat up all the scabs. The barman said, "Look, brother, you better keep your language clean." He smiled and said, "Piss off," and threw out the street to leave. What's the matter with dear old man? He's going round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. What's the matter with dear old man? He's going round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. Ow! But one time the Queen came to town, he went to that parade. Still drunk from the night before, he spied a motorcade. As the car went past, he made a Cheshire very snag. He lifted his keel and showed his ass as dirty as a Clyde. What's the matter with Zero Glad? He's gone round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. What's the matter with Zero Glad? He's gone round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. Hey! Staggered home one night. His kill was dripping piss. He stopped a buck on the minister's frock, and he raised his drunken fist. What's the matter? Is here that is gone round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. What's the matter? Is here that is gone round and round. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the king of Ranky Town. The king of Ranky Town.
You're listening to Celtic Crossroads, coming to you from the beautiful Peacock Room high above the Disc Golf Course on the campus of Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas. I'm Kenton Adler. Let's carry on now with a little Alex Beaton from Beaton's Best. This is Trois Recruiting Sergeants.
Twa recruiting sergeants come frae the Black Watch to markets and fairs, some recruits for to catch, and all that they listed was 42. So list bonny laddie and come awa. Ach laddie, you dinna ken the danger that you're in. If your horses was to gleg and your housen was to run, this greedy old farmer, he went up to your feet. So let's, bonny laddie, and come awa with me. And it's over the mountains, over the main, through Gibraltar to France and Spain, with a feather to your bonnet and a kilt upon your knee. Enlist the bonny laddie and come awa with me. It is into the barn and out to the boy. This old farmer thinks she'll never tire. It's a slavery job of Lord agree. So let's, bonny laddie, and come awa with me. And it's over the mountains, over the main, through Gibraltar to France and Spain, with a feather to your bonnet and a kilt upon your knee. And let's, bonny laddie, and come awa with me. Laddie, if you've got a sweetheart and babe, please get rid of that ill-spun yarn, for rattles o' the drum, and that'll pay it all. So let's, bonny laddie, and come awa. And it's over the mountains, over the main, through Gibraltar to France and Spain, with a feather to your bonnet and a kilt upon your knee. And list a bonny laddie, and come awa with me. And it's over the mountains, over the main, through Gibraltar to France and Spain, with a feather to your bonnet and a kilt upon your knee. And let's, a bonny laddie, and come awa with me.
fine day in England, just as cause. Mary watches everything in her living room alone. Television's flickering with the volume down. Everything is changing in the outside world. There are signs of rearranging in softer spoken words. Hear men talk in whispers of a woman or a girl. Things are only changing. In the outside world, images of people turning power on its head. They walk across that danger zone. So many died or fled. Mary watches everything in her living room alone. Television's flickering with the volume down. Everything is changing in the outside world. There are signs of rearranging softer spoken words. Hear men talking whispers of a woman or a girl. Things are all changing. In the outside world, Mary watches everything. She never heeds the bell when the genuine and the curious ones come and ask if she is well. They talk and hang around like every day. Mary stays inside. Voices fade away. Everything is changing in the outside world. There are signs of rearranging in softer spoken words. Hear men talking whispers of a woman or a girl. Things are all changing.
We started off this portion of the program with Alex Beaton, and then we went to the Los Angeles Scots Pipe Band from their album At the Beach. We heard a couple of 6/8s, the LA Scots Pipe Band and Bruce Gandy's Farewell to the Iron Horse. After that came Luca Bloom from the Acoustic Motorbike with Mary Watches Everything, and we just heard Fairport Convention from the album Myths and Heroes with the Gallivant. And now it's time for a little poetry. Now spring has clad the grove in green by Robert Burns. Now spring has clad the grove in green and strewed the lea with flowers. The furred waving corn is seen rejoice in fostering showers. While ilka thing in nature join their sorrows to forgo. Oh, why thus all alone are mine the weary steps of woe? The trout in yonder wimpling burn that glides a silver dart, and safe beneath the shady thorn defies the angler's art. My life was ance that careless stream, that wanton trout was I, but law with unrelenting beam has scorched my fountains dry. The little flow'ret's peaceful lot in yonder cliff that grows, which saved the linnet's flight I wot nae ruder visit knows, was mine till love hast o'er me passed and blighted a my bloom, and now beneath the withering blast my youth and joy consume. The wakened laverock warbling springs and climbs the early sky, winnowing blithe her dewy wings in morning's rosy eye. As little recked I sorrow's power until the flowery snare, O witching love in luckless hour made me the thrall o' care. Oh, had my fate been Greenland snows, or Afric's burning zone, wi' man and nature leagued my foes, so piggy ne'er I'd known. The wretch his doom is hope nae mair, what tongue his woes can tell, within his bosom save despair, nae kinder spirits dwell.
of 6 jovial Welshmen, 6 jovial men were they, and they would all a hunting ride all on St David's Day. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day. Oh, they rode along a bit further, and nothing could they find but a hedgehog in an open field, and that they left behind. One of them said it's a hedgehog, another one he said nay, but the others all said it's a pincushion with a pin stuck in the wrong way. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day. Oh, they rode along a bit further, and nothing could they find but a natterjack toad in an open field, and that they left behind. One of them said it's a toad, sir, another one he said nay, but the others all said it's Grandma's duck with the feathers all blown away. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day. Oh, they rode along a bit further, and nothing could they find but a haystack in an open field, and that they left behind. One of them said it's a haystack, another one he said nay, but the others all said it's Patrick Moore, and they all ran away. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day. When Crookback Richard wore the crown as ruler of the land, no policy could bring him down, nor his foul law withstand. A tribute from them he did seek, which they refused to pay. Now in their hand they wear the leek, all on St David's Day. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day. Then fill each glass and let it pass, no sign of care betray. We will drink and sing while the bells do ring, all on St David's Day.
right, that was Jack Lee from The World's Greatest Pipers, Volume 15, with a set of hornpipes that included the Londonderry hornpipe, Harry McAleer's favorite, and Pipe Major George Allen. Just before that, we heard Wood, Wilson, and Carthy with Three Jovial Welshmen. Before Wood, Wilson, and Carthy, we heard the Battlefield Band from Quiet Days with the St. Louis Stagger, Ass in the Graveyard, and Sandy's New Chanter. And we started off this portion of the program with Torrin Ryan from Ullin Piping from the Burrows with a set of reels, The Hare's Paw, Donald Blue, and Bag of Spuds. I'm Kenton Adler, you're listening to Celtic Crossroads, and we're going to carry on now with Brendan Behan from Brendan Behan Sings Irish Folk Songs and Ballads with The Captains and the Kings.
Let us continue, as the man said. I'll have to sing this song in an Oxford accent. You haven't any idea my Oxford accent? Well, you shortly will. I remember in September when the final stamps were drawn and the shouts of crowds now silent and the boys to tea have gone. Let us, O Lord above us, still remember simple things when all are dead who love us, oh, the captains and the kings. When all are dead who love us, oh, the captains and the kings. We have many goods for export, Christian ethics and old port, but our greatest boast is that the Anglo-Saxon is a sport. When the darts game is finished, and the boys their game of rings, and the draughts and chess relinquished, oh, the captains and the kings. And the draughts and chess relinquished, oh, the captains and the kings. Far away in dear old Cyprus, or in Kenya's dusty land, where we bear the white man's burden in many a strange land. As we look across our shoulder in West Belfast, the school bell rings, and we sigh for dear old England and the captains and the kings. And we sigh for dear old England and the captains and the kings. In our dreams we see old Harrow, and we hear the crow's loud caw. At the flower show our big Marrow takes the prize from Evelyn Wall. Cups of tea or some dry sherry, vintage cars, these simple things. So let's drink up and be merry, oh, the captains and the kings. So let's drink up and be merry, oh, the captains and the kings. I stumbled in a nightmare all around Great Windsor Park, and what do you think I found there as I wandered in the dark? 'Twas an apple half bitten, and the sweetest of all things 5 baby teeth had written, oh, the captains and the kings. 5 baby teeth had written of the captains and the kings. By the moon that shines above us in the misty morning night, let us cease to run ourselves down and praise God that we are white. And better still our English tea and toast and muffin rings, old ladies with stern faces, and the captains and the kings. Old ladies with stern faces, and the captains and the kings. I wrote that song in 6 minutes with the assistance of, it was the first time actually that I wrote with drink on me, with the assistance of a bottle of whiskey and a manager actually who threatened me with a .45 revolver if I didn't finish it quick. Actually, I did the job in 6 minutes, as I said.
Hush, hush.
From the album Ham na Tang, that was Fiddler's Bid with Michael's Mazurka. Just before that, we heard Katrina O'Leary and Dulra from the album Sleep Songs with Hush O. And we also heard Brendan Behan with The Captains and the Kings. And just before that last break, I played a set of hornpipes by Jack Lee. He's the pipe sergeant of the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band from Vancouver, and he'll be joining us here on the Lyon College campus between June 8th and 13th for our piping summer school. And on the Thursday evening, the night of the 12th this year, we'll have an instructors concert, and that'll feature Jack and Jimmy Bell. I'll do a few tunes myself, and then we'll also have Willie McCallum performing. That's open to the public, so if you'd like to come and hear some great piping and me, please join us here on the Lyon College campus. That's June the 12th, the Thursday evening. This has been Celtic Crossroads. I'm Kenton Adler. We're here on the campus of Lyon College every week at 6 p.m. Central. I thank you for listening, and we'll see you the next time at the Crossroads.